Hello and welcome to Not So Awesome Review, and today we are looking at the McFarlane Toys Witcher Roach figure. This is based off of his appearance on Netflix, I guess. If you saw the show, you know why I'm saying I guess. Basically, every horse that Geralt gets is named Roach, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Though this is branded for the Netflix version, it does work fine with the video game versions, which is what I'm gonna be using and showcasing it with in this review because I don't have Netflix Geralt. His face doesn't look like Henry Cavill to me, and I didn't want to get it specifically for that reason. Though I was tempted, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so starting off with his size, I do want to mention that he is a completely different mold from the Dark Knight version, the Dark Knight Build-A-Figure horse, so expect differences, which is a good thing, because I honestly thought we were just gonna get a recycled figure. No, it's his own thing, which I'm really happy with. First thing, he is about 8¼ inches tall, to the top of the ear. Yeah, just under 8½ inches, somewhere between 8¼ and 8½. And lengthwise, let's say 9½, though. If you move his tail out, he's definitely bigger than a foot, but I don't think many people will be having the tail out that much. I mean, aside from, I guess, maybe a running pose or something. Though that's going to be a little bit difficult because he is a balancing mess. But before we get into that, he does come with a sword that you can see here, and it's a nice size. It's smaller than the ones that come with the video game Geralt. So, I just wanted to mention that because you can sheath it here on Roach, but you can't sheath the Geralt swords on there because they're too long. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because he does also have a sheath on this side. So you can put it either on the left or the right. Kind of makes me wish we had gotten a second sword. And I really wish they weren't made out of rubber because this rubber material sucks. It's the worst thing that McFarlane does with its weapons is give us swords that are made out of rubber, especially when you get them out of the packaging and they're bent. Thankfully, this one wasn't bent out of the packaging, but putting it in the sheath here is actually bending it a little bit. But anyways, I did want to mention the little animal head thingies that come with Geralt. You can fit them around the sheath right there, so Roach can carry them along with him. Anyways, like I said, balancing is a mess with this figure, but it's the same as the Build-A-Figure horse from the Dark Knight one, the Batman one. So I kind of already knew what I was getting into, and if you have the Build-A-Figure and you're debating on getting this one, if you have any frustrations with that one, you're gonna have it here because it's basically the same system, just a little bit smaller, and you can see that's what I'm saying about balancing. Normally, I would cut that out and start over, but because I'm basically talking about it right now, yeah, that's what happens with the balancing, is that he just falls over. And it's not just the diorama, I'll just say right now, the diorama here I have isn't flat. It isn't the best surface to be doing this on, but it does it on a regular table. So just want to put that out there. Finding a good balance on him isn't the easiest. I mean, that right there isn't bad, but what you can't maybe see is that his right leg here isn't even touching the table. It's a little bit up, so the joints aren't even that weak. Some of them, like this foot one, doesn't even want to move, but it's definitely a difficult figure to handle. I don't know how Figma did theirs. I don't know how Mythic Legions did theirs, but McFarlane's, yeah, it definitely has some kinks that I kind of wish they would figure out. One of the things being that I wish the legs could spread apart on the front and the back just a little bit, because I feel like if I could have the legs a little bit wider, like for a wider stance, I can balance him a little bit better. Funny enough, though, sometimes the legs end up wanting to go in closer to each other, and that causes problems because then he goes like in heavy and just tips over like that. So definitely a little bit of frustration there, but for the price, $40, and it being a good size that will definitely mix in well with different action figure lines, yeah, it's not bad. So let's get into articulation, then we'll take a closer look. So tail can move up and down. It can move sideways, but after a certain point, it will just fall. So be aware. I believe the Dark Knight horse did the same thing. As for the leg, it can go all the way back. If I can get it, can't go all the way forward. Can go back. Can't go forward. There's a rotation right here at the ankle and then back and forward at the ankle. This one's a little bit frozen. You can see it better right there. Same with the front leg. It can, if it wants to, you can see it's definitely tight. Move forward, move back. Yeah, that's all you're gonna get right there. It's not the prettiest thing because you can see right here it's flat and rounded, but it is what it is. I'm not really angry about that. It has a knee right there. knee right there, and then again rotation right there, which you would think the ankle pivot-ish, yeah, I'm saying ankle pivot-ish because it's not really an ankle pivot, but the ankle pivot-ish thing it has would be helpful, but not really. If anything, I'm finding more issues with that rotating, with me trying to get it to go forward and then figuring out, oh, the whole thing is sideways. So yeah, and then having to rotate it back, oh no, it's still sideways, I have to rotate it again, and then I'm just jumbled up until I get it back to the right position. So, a little bit annoying there. Maybe it helps with balancing, maybe I just haven't messed enough with the figures, but in my experience so far, it's just been annoying. Anyway, head, you can see, can go all the way down there, all the way up there, and then the head itself can't really move forward, can't really move down, move a little bit left, and move a little bit right. I wish you could move a little bit more. That was one of my biggest complaints when I got the Build-A-Figure. I didn't do a video on it. I did do a video on it, but I never posted it, funny enough. But yeah, I just wish the head had a little bit more movement. Let's see if I can balance this guy so that we can talk about the aesthetics. So Roach looks really good. Honestly, for the price of $40, this is one of the best looking McFarlane figures they've done. The only complaint I would have is the fact that the hair is a little bit glossy and not matted. If it had a matted mane and everything for the hair and for the tail and everything, I think it would have came out looking really, really good, because the figure itself is actually pretty flat black. It's a little bit glossy, but not too much. And the thing that stands out about this one is the fact that the saddle is different colors. We have black in there, we have silver, we have brown. Yes, they could have done a little bit more. Some of the strings could have been, you know, painted. Some of the stitching could have been painted and everything. But at least these 3 different colors definitely help differentiate the figure itself. Unlike, again, the Dark Knight one, which we'll look at in a second, which is all brown and a little bit silver in there. The head on it looks really good. I think the paint just overall on the horse and everything came out perfect. It makes it look a little bit more real, a little bit more premium. Love the white on the front of his head, love the eyes, they look really good, and the thing around its mouth, I don't know horse terms, I apologize, but all of it came out looking really good, and just, it looks really nice, really premium. I love it. This is honestly, out of the 2 horses, I do recommend this one over the Dark Knight one, just in aesthetics alone. Of course, it is Roach, it is from The Witcher, but you don't need to have it from The Witcher. You can make it from anything you want. Yeah, it'll have a sheath or a sword in it. If you really don't want it there for whatever reason, you could, I guess, cut it off. I don't know if you could just take it off. Maybe you can. Nah, that's definitely glued in there. So you could probably heat it up and take it off if you really wanted to, if you really don't want it in there. But it looks good. It's a really good looking horse, and I really like it. So let's see if I can balance him again, because again he wants to fall over. Foot not touching, that's not the word, touching the floor. But let's put Geralt here next to him, the, of course, video game one, because like I said, I don't have the Netflix one, didn't pick him up. But you can see here, it's a pretty good size. He comes up to his head. I'm holding him because he doesn't want to stand. They're a little bit balanced there. But yeah, that's a really good size, honestly. You can even move the horse's head up a little bit more, so he's a little bit taller than him. And yeah, that's not bad, and that was a bad move because now he's unbalanced again. So this is what I'm saying. Getting this guy balanced is definitely a chore. It's definitely not a figure you're going to go and have. You just expect frustration. That's where I'm getting at. Expect frustration. But you can see Geralt again looks really good next to him. Really good size. Honestly, really like it. See, who again probably won't stand on her own, and her foot is a little bit up there, so she's definitely not going to stand on her own right now. But you can see again, really good size. Looks good together. Absolutely love it. You can have both of them riding it. A little bit hard to get a natural pose on there, but it works. You know, you just gotta mess with it a little bit, getting them balanced on there, and then having to balance the horse. It's a whole thing, but it's doable. It will fall over probably, but it's doable. And just for comparison with the McFarlane Batman, here you can see, you know, again, it's actually a pretty good size. Even though his horse is definitely bigger, that's already a good size. For anyone who wants to see a basic 112 figure, I chose to use the Spider-Man Mezco, because he's basically the size of a Marvel Legends, around the size of the Iron Man that came out a couple years ago. Was it a couple years ago, or was it 1 year ago? I don't remember, but yeah, you can see, again, that's a pretty good size. Definitely can fit with the horse, no problem. That's really good. I actually really like that right there. And for those Sonic fans out there, we have Sonic next to it. short, but honestly, in the context of Sonic, it fits. Anyways, quick comparison. If he wants to stand again, okay, that time he might stay. And hopefully, this other guy cooperates too, because he's definitely bigger, definitely bulkier. And here he is with the Dark Knight horse, the Dark Knight Returns horse, and you can see, again, a lot bigger, a lot bulkier. Definitely a different shade of black. Again, this one feels like it's textured or just painted a lot more premium than the Build-A-Figure, which is a little bit sad because you would think the Build-A-Figure costing so much more considering you're having to pay for all of the figures and for all the pieces. You would think he'd be a little bit more premium, a little bit nicer, but no, the black on him, honestly, in comparisons, looks a little bit more plasticky. Under the light, it honestly looks a little bit more grayish, a little bit more green grayish. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, it definitely looks a little bit cheaper. The saddle being one solid color aside from the silver, again, it just makes it look more toyish. It's not as nice as the one over here. Even face-wise, I feel like this sculpt work on Roach is just so much better than the sculpt work on this one. It's not bad sculpt work by any means. It's really nice, but the eyes for it didn't look too alive to me compared to this one here. They might be two different breeds of horses. I don't know. You can see the noses on him is a lot bigger. The nose on him is bigger than the nose on him. Of course, he's a bigger horse, but I mean like the nostrils and everything. I don't know. They look a little bit more cartoonish, whereas his screams a little bit more realism. My only issue is that it is glossy on both of them. But yeah, definitely bigger, definitely smaller, definitely not the same horse, which again, it's a bonus because I was expecting a reuse. It's not a reuse, it's something completely different, and I applaud McFarlane for even doing that, because it would have been so much cheaper for McFarlane to release the same Build-A-Figure with a different head and a different tail and saddle and everything, and then just give us a different one if he wants to do one in the future for Spawn or something, for any other series. It would have been so easy for him to just be like, hey, look, it's a different horse, but it's the same one. No, he gave us two different horses, and yeah, it makes me feel like the money was well spent, because honestly, I was a little bit hesitant in getting him and having to Build-A-Figure knowing that I was going to have two different horses. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, two different horses, that's pretty cool. But I honestly thought they were going to be the same size. I thought they were going to be the same body mold, but no, here we have two different guys, and that's awesome. But anyways, that's my review for the McFarlane Toys Netflix Witcher Roach horse figure, action figure. Really good figure. Honestly, really like it. I do recommend it if you're a fan of The Witcher or just want a nice 1/12 scale horse for a good price. Pick it up. You will be frustrated. I'm just going to say it right now. It is frustrating to mess with the joints. It's annoying to get imbalanced, as you saw during the review. I'm behind a camera, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, but even without the camera in front of me, it's still definitely annoying. But you can't beat it for the price. It looks really good. I highly recommend it just because we don't get that many 1/12 scale horses at good price. If you want a good horse for your 1/12 scale collection, definitely pick this guy up. A lot easier than having to spend the money to get the Build-A-Figure, and you get a nice little sword with it, which is rubbery, and it's something, I guess. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully we'll have stuff next week. Didn't post anything this week because I didn't have anything to post. I have video ideas and video things I want to do, but for review-wise, I didn't have anything to post, and those other videos are going to take some time for me to film. So, yeah, sorry about the lack of videos, but it is what it is. Hopefully I'll have something at least next week, but one thing is better than nothing, and yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.